Hey guys, story time today. We're currently driving the Pendle Witches Trail in Lancashire. I'll be showing you some of the sights and scenery about the tour and telling you a little bit about the history of the Pendle Witches. We're out today following the trail of the Pendle Witches. We're doing this in the car, which is one way to do it. There are lots of smaller trails you can do either on a bike or on foot, but we're in the car because we're actually on our way home from Blackpool. The trail started in Barrowford and we've just about reached Clitheroe. The roads so far have been really narrow and windy, and the camera's just been shuggling all over the place, so I haven't really been able to do any filming, and I'm getting shuggled a little bit just now because we're going round and roundabout. Basically, you start by driving around through some villages at the foot of Pendle Hill, where the witches' story would be sort of played out back when the Pendle Witches' story was actually happening. We've just come out of Clitheroe, but we've lost the trail, and now we are using the sat-nav to get back to the trail. The trail, this is an actual thing, we've not just made this up. This is the trail of the Pendle Witches, and there are little road signs on the roads that look like, oh sorry for the sugary, look like that. And we're trying to follow them, but we lost them back in the centre of Clitheroe, and now we're looking for them again. We started here and we're about here, but we're off the trail. Oh, we're back onto narrow roads. I don't like narrow roads. They give me the heebie-jeebies. Anyway, as long as I'm not distracting David too much, am I?
No.
I'll continue to tell you a little bit about the story of the Pendle Witches. This takes place in 1612, so back in the 17th century. The king in 1612 was James I. This wasn't long after the gunpowder plot had happened, so he was a very suspicious and paranoid king at that time. And he genuinely believed that witchcraft was a real thing and that witches were responsible for all of the things that were going wrong in the country. The king brought about a law that made witchcraft illegal and punishable by a number of things, including up to and including death. Anything that could be construed as witchcraft also fell under this. David and I, we would have been in so much trouble back then, because even keeping a dog or a cat was considered a sign of witchcraft. And as you know, we've got 2 dogs and 2 cats, and we're also probably witches, but never mind. The dogs alone would have been enough to get us hung. Back in the 17th century, it was an actual real job to be a witch finder. And witch finders had a number of ways of proving that people were a witch. One of the ways of proving that somebody was a witch was if they had a devil's mark on the body. This could be like a birthmark, a mole, a scar. If it was today, it would be tattoos as well, no doubt. So that would be why we're gone. Really, we're done for with all the cat keeping and the tattoos and things. Just having a scar or a birthmark though wasn't quite enough to get you executed for being a witch. What they would do was they would prick you in your witch's mark, and if it didn't bleed, then you were definitely a witch and you were going to move to the next stage of the trial, because the trial was quite a lot of torturous ways of finding out if you were a witch. What wasn't known at the time and is kind of known and suspected now is that the witch finders wanted to have people found as a witch because they got paid that way. So they had ways and means of carrying out the tests without the tests coming back, you know. So if somebody needed to bleed, if you pricked them, then you just didn't prick them. You just made it look like you pricked them so that they would be called a witch and move on to the next stage in the trial. More often than not, the next stage in the trial was to see if a witch would float. This is where the saying sink or swim comes from, because what they would do was they would throw a witch into the water, or a suspected witch into the water, and if that person sunk, then they were not a witch, but they drowned. And if they were a witch and they floated, or if they floated, they were called a witch, and then they were burned at the stake. So it kind of didn't matter one way or another, you were done for, really. It's actually quite nice just to get out the car after all the squibbly bibbly roads. Look at all the sheepies. Sheepies! Is that a sheep or a witchy sheep? Or is it a witch in disguise? I think it's probably just a sheep. The Pendle Witches were 9 villagers who were tried and found guilty and executed for witchcraft back in 1612. Most of the villagers who were accused of witchcraft were from 2 very poor families who were mainly women, and because of the era, these women were unable to work. So to make some money to survive, they turned their hand to a number of things, including begging, but probably also some things that would have been called witchcraft back in those days, offering healing services, maybe even midwifery. Midwives used to be considered to be witches, by the way. Quite dodgy. In March of 1612, one of the villagers, Alison Device, was begging. A travelling salesman or a peddler was walking by and she asked him for some money. And when he refused to give it to her, she cursed him. Now, the reports from that time state that a black dog appeared and that the peddler was struck paralysed and collapsed on the road. These are all the things that were said about this woman, and that is why she was accused of witchcraft. This is where the story really started. Alison was accused of witchcraft and she was brought before the local justice and tried as a witch. Surprisingly, you might think she confessed to witchcraft. It's not really surprising though when you consider that in order to get that confession she would have been tortured using medieval torture practices that were used on witches. Now we've seen some examples of that in one of the other videos when we went to Ripley's, and it's quite commonly understood now that if you were accused of witchcraft you would confess to being a witch to get them to stop the torture, as at that point even execution would be considered a relief from what they were doing to get you to confess. Now, not only did she confess, that wouldn't have been enough for the witch finders. She also accused some other villagers. She accused her own family members as well as another family of very poor people from the local area. Bear in mind, this was under severe torture, and the poor woman was tortured into accusing her own grandmother of being a witch, and that her grandmother had cursed somebody to death. And back in the 17th century, people believed that these things actually happened. So this confession caused several other people from the village to be hauled in for questioning over their alleged witchcraft, and under torture all of these people confessed to various crimes, including having the devil come and suck their blood, and using clay figures or voodoo dolls, as they would probably be seen today, to put curses on people and kill people using magic. In the end, there were 9 people accused of witchcraft. The accused were all sent to Lancaster Castle, where their trial and their executions were carried out. While they were waiting at Lancaster Castle, a group of people, around about 20 people, got together at the home of Alison Device and planned to blow up Lancaster Castle to set the women free. This plot got discovered, which led to more people actually being arrested for witchcraft. When they went to the family home where the plot had been concocted, they allegedly found human bones and clay figurines. Taken place at the family home where they discussed blowing up Lancaster Castle. That took place on Good Friday 1612, and that was called the Good Friday Gathering. Now, they actually got hold of a little girl who was 9-year-old Janet Device, who they questioned, does that mean tortured, a 9-year-old child, who quite freely gave up everybody that she knew, including her own mother, as a witch. The trial took place that August at Lancaster Castle, and it was basically the scene of a lot of histrionics, finger pointing, allegations, confessions, and it would have been quite a dramatic thing to have witnessed at the time. Every single one of them who was accused of witchcraft were sentenced to death, and they were executed just 3 days later in the grounds of Lancaster Castle. The story of the Pendle Witches is one of the most famous ones in England, and it's subject to a lot of debate as to what was actually going on. There's lots of good websites out there, and there's a lot of books. We've seen some books in the bookshops as we've been driving about the trail. If you're interested in doing some more reading or research of your own, that's fine. Obviously these are only my and our opinions. I'm fairly certain these were just very unfortunate, vulnerable people who were executed at a time of great fear in the entire country, brought about by a dangerous ruler, maybe. Say no more than that, eh? I hope you've enjoyed this. It's been a bit of a different video for us. We've enjoyed doing it. If you have enjoyed it, could you leave us a comment? Tell us if this is the sort of thing you'd like to see us doing again, or if it's so boring that you never want to see us doing this ever again, that's fine too. Either way, let us know in the comment section. Thanks for watching. Bye!